The G20 summit is over. The communique has been released. The final word from the G20 leaders, the self-appointed stewards of the global economy. We've been in the streets all day, marching with thousands of people whose voices are not heard inside that exclusive process. Here are some of the highlights of what we saw and heard.
Money for healthcare, not for warfare. Money for healthcare, not for warfare.
Well, we actually think that there's something very sinister in how the G8 has been expanded to become this G20. A big part of it is actually an attempt to co-opt countries such as Brazil, co-opt countries such as South Africa as a way of trying to silence the dissenting voice that were coming from the developing world.
So the G20 leaders say that they're committed to solving the climate crisis. What do you make of that?
I think the G20 leaders are lying to us, and they've figured out a way to turn the climate crisis into a moneymaker. And they're using it as another way to get access to people's land and resources and to commodify the air and put a price on the air and trade it all around the globe.
You're talking about the cap and trade system.
I'm talking about the cap and trade system and the carbon market.
There is some talk at the G20 about reforming international financial institutions like the IMF. How is that seen from the streets?
Well, I think that nobody believes, even those in power, nobody believes that changing a few percentage points on the voting shares at the IMF is going to change any of the decisions that get made. What it is really about is a little bit of symbolism to give a point of pride to countries like China and India to say they have more votes. But as they get more votes, they start voting the same way that the people who had more votes before were voting, because they're starting to feel the power flowing through their veins.
No borders, no nations, no racist occupations.
Well, the G20 is saying business as usual, we're going along just fine. And we're saying actually the people are hurting, we need social services, we need health care, we need good paying jobs. The optimism resides in the ruling class. For the folks every single day, domestic workers, hotel workers, restaurant employees, security guards, the repression is just starting to hit them, and it's continuing to hit them. Foreclosures at a high rate. You got black capital loss due to homes that are at a high, and social services like transportation, healthcare that's taking a cut. So for our folks on the ground, this is not it's a bailout for the banks, but not a bailout for the people.